Yeah, 2:58 Wednesday. I'm beginning to wonder, like, chronologically, where we are on the timeline, because I believe, not that it's the end times, but I do think it's the times before that. Like, this is the turnabout time. I look at the way the world is moving. We've already made the biggest bombs that you could have in things, the war machines, the innovations of cars and how to pollute the earth fastest. It's time to either make a resurgence back to following the lead of nature and its perfect design, figuring out how to make science do what it's really supposed to do, and make these inventions that can really be sustainable. A lot of times people, they drive a car and they only need to drive it to work or around the city. That could be replaced with a vehicle that only goes 40, 50 miles per hour and is all electric. You don't really need to always travel 50 miles a day, most people. And I don't think when they made cars, I don't really think they thought of that. This might sound ridiculous, but it also may have saved a large part of the percentage of our ozone layer, um, which is essential to all life. The problem is still growing at an exponential rate. And last week, I see, I don't know, it tells me what air quality is. Air quality is usually at a solid medium. How is that okay? I'm noticing the norms and the quality of life. Well, not for me. I feel like I'm manifesting I'm manifesting a quality of life and the adventure that I've told God I've wanted from day one, which is to be a creative, do for Him, and also to be able to travel and make a living off of my creativity. I'm just about there. I've asked for this years ago. Years ago. Years ago. And I didn't go to school for it. In fact, the school I was going to go to and pay $80,000 shut down a few years after I would have graduated, not leaving their accreditation completely for naught, but also not cute. I'm still doing that, what I wanted to do, regardless of those situationalities in life. So God carried it through, to me, is what that means. It's one thing to wish for it in high school. It's another thing to actually do it. It's another thing to incorporate it as an LLC. It's another thing to say, now I'm actually going back to school for business. I thank God. Um, those are the good things. I'm acknowledging the good things. I'm acknowledging the dark things that God has brought me through, at least mentally, and actually as a whole so far. Things that I know most people do not survive. Um, and it's amazing. I feel like I'm defeating something that a lot of people didn't think was defeatable without probably medication, which I did that with ADHD already. Um, Defeated that. Spirituality. I mean, people say you need a therapist. I didn't have money for that. I didn't have the coordination for that. I started praying. things started getting better, at least more understandable. At least I could get away from some of the things that was hindering me and being a distraction, being a toxic distraction. We all go through those, although people will lie to you and tell you that they've never, ever been through any of those. Um, so don't feel bad. Don't beat yourself up. Try to find a solution. Pray on it and try to find a solution. They're not going to find a solution for you. God is. He will always find a solution for you if you ask for one. And if you believe it for real, He will. And the reason I know is because He has. And literally, that time I was going to die, and said, lift my hands up and say, "Oh God, please don't kill me." He made sure those people didn't kill me right in front of my eyes. I give Him the accolade. I don't say, "Oh, well, they probably had a different course of action." No, the boys had knives and they was ready to use them, and they were not fucking playing. So, neither was God, thank goodness. And I think we have to look at these things in our life as not a coincidence, because you look at it as a coincidence, that's actually an insult. That's rude as hell. If somebody, did something and they really, they want to be acknowledged, even a person. So what a king, a God, of course, the God, like the only one and only, of course He wants acknowledgement too. And He's making everything in your life go good. Oh yeah, do it please, because that's not, I don't understand. I think a lot of people do thank God, but they don't really thank Him and be like, you know what, wow, acknowledging the fact I would not be able to have made it through X, Y, and Z moment, made it to X, Y, and Z point, made it through with the kids, the dog, the husband, the divorce, the death of mom, the death of dad, if it wasn't for Him. And then don't get a couple months away from the topic at hand and feel like, oh, well, He helped me through that. Now He's done helping me, or He's gone off into the ether. He's not over here right now. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. He doesn't do that. He does that I guess He does that if you do that to Him. But He has no reason to do that. He's an omnipresent being. That means he has the ability to be everywhere and is everywhere all at once. And you don't have to know how, and you don't have to have a scientific equation for how, because He's God and He can do the impossible. That's all you need to know. He can make whatever possible. He said, "Let there be light." He said, read the book of Genesis. You'll see how, he's not really confined by physics or math or sciences. He created those things, so He's not confined by them. He made them so you could understand your little world buzzing around you at some point when you got to the point where you could figure it out. Still, I'm not a scientist. I guess I'm more of a philosopher. So the how, that's for God to answer one day to the people that are so nosy that they need to know how. I think in the present moment, when something hits you, or intuition, or an anointing, even a miracle, don't sit up. I just don't see the value in sitting up and questioning it. How? Well, what? How? Okay, so what? And when you figure out how, what are you going to try to do? Replicate it? Oh, so you want to be like those Tower of Babel people that got destroyed for trying to copy God. No, there's no even reason for you to know how. Just accept it and do something good with it, your best that you can, and acknowledge where you got it from. That's, I think, the best thing people could do with the unexplainable, anything, because I had to ponder that a lot after my DR trip. Well, why did he save me? Or why did he make sure that these boys didn't slice me or cut my finger off or kill me? Why? I hadn't been feeling that deserving of a whole new lease on life. I felt like I was actually kind of getting stagnant and wondering what more is there for me to do. Other than music. I mean, I never get tired of music, thank God. He gave me that, so I never get tired of music. But yeah, I think there's going to be an entering of a time frame where a lot of people are going to be asking how, and then a certain portion of the community is just going to be doing the work, using the gifts, using their knowledge, using their discernment, using their compassion, using their newfound understanding to do the work. And then others are going to be saying, how. But the more they sit in the how section, the more they're going to be left out of benefits and do reward for most, or do grace, whichever one. Some people will be rewarded, some people will get grace, some people will get mercy. Some may, I guess, be punished. I don't really think about that, because it's not up to me. Thank God. I don't have to worry about punishing people. I'm not here to be a punisher. I'm not here to tell people how damned they're going to be, because I'm literally not the Grim Reaper, and nor would I want it to be. That does not sound fun. It sounds like, yeah. So I think we should also focus on not being a Grim Reaper type person. We don't have to be. That's not our job. We're not dragging people to hell. We're not enforcing judgment. We don't have the ability to do that. And also, God gets very mad when people try to do his job. Very mad. And then he gets mad when other people are claiming that a different thing can do his job. So all this stuff about AI, I'm not sure he's cool with certain things that are happening and going to happen with consciousness that's making its own decisions. It just sounds like something from hell, to be honest. It sounds literally like something that's going to be hellish, that's going to wreak havoc on the earth. A machine that does a job that's, a positive, productive job is fine. Why does it need to make its own decision? Does the hammer the nail by itself? Does the wheel turn, what direction it wants to? Tools are supposed to be simple, not people. We keep pushing this virtual reality and virtual realm when really we're supposed to be lifting the veil on the one that we're in. So that's a distraction. We're supposed to be lifting the veil eventually. And it doesn't have to be today, but let's think goal wise, just because it's biblical doesn't mean it can't be a goal to get to a certain place. Overall community wise, I don't think that it's a bad thing to have goals in places that you eventually want to get to, because obviously we're not there immediately. It takes time. So anyway, in regard to having goals and still thinking and taking biblical times and just readings and anything that's historical even seriously, where was I going to go with that? I'm multitasking. But I definitely want to record this down because people would never believe the shit that crosses my mind. And it's not even shit. It's like literally what I believe we should ponder on a more healthy basis, a larger scale, because you only got one life, one world, and one mother. Like, it's true. It's not just a song. It's not just to be cute every time. A lot of times we're trying to really say something, and a lot of times it's going over people's head, and I wish it not to, because it's been going over people's heads so long that now a lot of the music on the radio is drug induced to the point where y'all don't care how much your kids are talking about taking drugs. And then they talk about it, and then it's such a normalized thing. And then they start doing it when they get a little bit older. Let me tell you, that's not what you want. It's a multiple drug taking son or daughter, influenced by music that was in their middle school until high school, and then what happens in college and after that. You do the math for yourself, and you can also, I don't have kids, so you can also deal with whatever the truth of that is. If it's not, congratulations. Nobody's wishing bad on you, but at the same time, are you thinking? Are you using your brain? Are we ensuring good things, or just kind of hoping that maybe a good thing will happen? I think we have to ensure our own good things to happen. Put the effort in. God don't help somebody that can't help themselves, right? Okay, so then push it along. Push it along with him. Don't just stand by and watch. Don't just stand by and let systems create status quos that you're so comfortable into that you're going to watch this again, a situation again, where nothing is fixed. Everything is just ball and chained and medieval timed. Same thing that the founding fathers ran away from. They just put it on the lower, poorer people, and then the rich people are good. So we are a classist community by way of wealth which is collapsing. Things are going to get really mixed up, and all the things that people thought mattered so much, it's not going to matter as much. It's not going to count for as much. All the materialistic, all of the popularity contests, all of the judgmental, you're not even going to have time to care about that. Maybe for better or for worse. Maybe it's a change. Maybe it's a turn of events that forces people to really focus in and actually focus for real on like the things that matter this time, because it may be the last time to get it right. The government's not getting any more solid. The dollar's not getting any more healthy. The earth is not getting any more healthy. The food is not getting any more healthy. The ocean is not getting any more healthy. Why? What is the government so busy doing that they can't ensure that that is exactly what's happening to this entire planet that we've entrusted them continent-sized chunks of, to make sure that this whole world is basically not just spinning in chaos? And they got time to go to war. For what? For what? Resources. Divide that shit up, monetize however you need to do. There's no war. Everybody already has a chunk of land that's whatever belongs to them, but really belongs to God. Stop it. Literally. There's going to be people that do not want a message like this spread by a person like me. Doesn't matter what people want anymore. God's going to start doing what he wants. Meaning, irregardless, it's going to happen. If you get in the way, there's examples in the Bible of what happens to people. And also, people are going to be called to do things. And if they don't accept from him, you have your own personal relationship, it may not be good either. Maybe I would have died in Dominican Republic if in 2020, a year beforehand, I didn't devote my rest of my being to whatever he wants me to do in the way that he wants me to do it. I promised him that I want to give darkness a run for its money, and I want to fuck it up. And you can use me, and you can use my vessel to do whatever you want, to play for your team, and to do whatever you need. Move through me. And please give me music, please. And that doesn't mean fame. That just means music. And that just means the joy of playing music, listening to music, singing music, producing music. And he has. Yeah, our little conversations go well, and our little deals or whatever. Everything's good over here. Like, I'm not worried about how God sees me, because I know as many times as he saved me. Oh my goodness, he must be very fond of me. But also the things I want to do, and he knows the things I want to do, and he knows the truth telling things that he would prefer people to focus on, rather than something that's been put in place by something other than him and just hyped up to be some kind of structure that's similar to God, but it's nothing like him at all. This is why I can't speak on Twitter and Instagram, and I can't say things how I really would like to say them, because I think they're already trying to come after me in a way. But again, they're not in control. They are tinker toys in the grand scheme. Walls will move themselves out of the way. Doors will open with nobody even on the other side of it or in front of it. Lights will turn off without a hand hitting the switch, turn off or on. Murderers will be stopped dead in their tracks. I'm ready to experience what God has next. I'm ready to experience the next miracles that God has next. I'm ready to experience the next miracles that God has next. I'm not going to acknowledge that. I'm ready to see more. Because what I've seen already is amazing. This book that I'm getting ready to write, I don't even know. It's not even really about that. That's just something I want to do. But God's great. He's gotten me through each and everything. Um, he doesn't want you to be scared of anything other than not pleasing him. And even that, you're not going to get everything right. Just have an aim and have an idea of your purpose, and move towards it with purpose. No one wants a purposeless hater, because that's what happens when people get outside their purpose. They just start hating. They don't know what else to do. They got all this aloof energy. They got all this I don't know type energy, and then they start hating. Hate is not what he wants you to do, or else he would have said that. Again, are you sitting up here claiming one thing and doing something completely different, unbeknownst to you? Let's say it's unbeknownst. Let's say you didn't even know and start over. I didn't realize I was doing that, but I was doing that. I didn't realize I was more focused on being an earthly a-hole than a holy child of God. Which do you want to be? You're literally making a choice every second that passes by. And he's watching your moves and mine. We talk though, so